Hi guys, how are you doing today? Welcome back to a random lifestyle vlog. So, the advent calendar unboxing season here on YouTube is pretty much over, so I think it's a perfect time to sum things up, to talk about the best and the worst advent calendars of 2022. There's also Black Friday, like literally around the corner. You might be thinking about buying an advent calendar or two. So hopefully this video will help you a little bit to make up your decision. And just to let you know, I try to be as impartial as I could while creating this list. I try to take into consideration your opinions, your comments, use some common sense. But at the same time, this is in the end my video, and I cannot distance myself completely from my own opinions. So just to let you know, this is in the end my opinion as well. Your opinion might differ completely, and that is perfectly fine because we're all different, right? And we all have different needs. Oh, one more thing guys, we're going to talk about multi-branded calendars only. I feel like single branded advent calendars are a little bit different. They have a little bit different purpose. I feel like with single branded advent calendars, they are created mostly for you to discover the brand. They can't really give you full sizes because that wouldn't be very profitable for them. It just works differently. So whenever you compare a single branded advent calendar to a multi-branded advent calendar, it's very likely that the multi-branded one will win. So I decided to only talk about multi-branded advent calendars today. Okay, so let's start with the best and the worst advent calendars of the year. I was thinking that's going to be a little bit difficult to compare an advent calendar that costs £40 to an advent calendar that costs £250. That wouldn't really be a fair comparison, right? So just for the purpose of this video, I decided to divide the calendars into three categories. The first one will be from like up to £100, and we'll call this category an affordable one. Then we have between £100 and £200. That's going to be a mid-range category. And then the last one will be over £200, and this is the luxury category. Okay, so let's start with the cheapest category, with the affordable one, which is up to £100. I think I need to say that straight away. I think I need to say this. I do feel like the affordable advent calendar category was the worst this year, and not because it was the cheapest. No, I do feel like we had so many great advent calendars up to £100 in the last few years. This year is just like, I feel like there was something lacking definitely in this category, and I really struggled to find advent calendars that were like really good. Okay, so the first one that comes to my mind is Cohorted. This advent calendar was a 12-day advent calendar, but it was quite cheap as well. It was £49.99, that was the price, and then we had like a £12 delivery on top of that. It is ridiculous, right? But at the same time, there was a discount code working with it that kind of reduced it by £10, so we ended up paying like £52 or something. So that's the like real price of this advent calendar, right? The value of this calendar is over £450, which is amazing. Like, you pay £50 and you get 450 value of products. That is really good. So amongst those 12 products, we had a device, like a facial device. This was Red Wheat Boost, that was worth over £170. We had a full-size Delilah palette, Irene Forte night cream. So there were a couple of really nice items inside. There were a couple of minis as well, but I mean, we're talking about the advent calendar that cost £50. So I do believe that this was probably one of the best advent calendars in that price range for sure. There are so many more expensive advent calendars, and yeah. So I definitely feel like this is my number one. On the second place, I will probably put either the other Cohorted advent calendar, which is Cohorted Baubles. It also had this device inside, which is fine, and then it had a couple of like other items. There was no palette, but there was, I don't know, like a dry shampoo, I think, some other items. It was nice. It wasn't as nice as the classic calendar. This one was priced at £49.99 as well, but the value was £380, which is a bit lower than compared to the classic advent calendar. So second place would be between Cohorted Baubles and Holland Barrett. Holland Barrett, if you haven't tried it before, this is a very practical vegan organic kind of advent calendar. The items you might get in it are like very practical, like shower gel, shampoo, you can get a toothpaste, you can get a toothbrush. I think we had those items before, like deodorant, things like that. But the sizes are lovely. There are 24 or 25 products inside, but there are plenty of full sizes and the brands are nice. And this advent calendar costs £55, so I think the second place would be between these two advent calendars. And I believe that these three advent calendars can be described as good. So having said that, we're moving to 4 advent calendars that I'm not really sure how to describe them. I think they were okay. I think if you like the full sizes, then you probably enjoy those advent calendars, but if not, then let me just tell you which advent calendars I mean. So here we have Look Fantastic, ASOS, River Island, and potentially Birchbox. I think these 4 advent calendars, I mean, I personally actually really like Look Fantastic, only because the full sizes in Look Fantastic were quite nice. These are the products I like. These are the products I don't really mind getting advent calendars, so I did like that one. Also, bear in mind, I got this one with a discount. Similar situation with ASOS, there was like 20% discount, I think, and I did like some full sizes in this calendar, so I think it was worth the money for me. Then we have River Island, and this is exactly opposite for me. This is the example of what I'm talking about. Many people actually really like this advent calendar, but to me, there was nothing that convinced me to buy it. But this is just down to your personal preferences. I feel like Birchbox might be in the same category, but to be honest, I haven't really seen this advent calendar. Apart from like the content, I haven't really seen anybody unbox this advent calendar, so I'm not really sure how it actually turned out. Sometimes you do unbox an advent calendar, it turns out to be better or worse than you expected. But I feel like maybe this one would be the same category. From what I remember, there are a couple of nice items in there, but nothing that will really convince me to buy it. So I will probably say these calendars, if you like some of the full items, then they still can be worth the money, especially with the discounts, but that's nothing really to write home about, right? So now we're going to talk about the worst advent calendars in this category, and guys, let me tell you, there are like plenty. We don't have time for like mentioning every single advent calendar that's bad. I'm just going to mention a couple, okay? I'm just going to mention a couple that were quite like, you know, we all talked about them. Next Beauty, like what happened? The brands were nice, but the sizes? I mean, I remember Next Advent Calendar 2 years ago was lovely. 1 year ago it was good. What happened this year? I have no idea. Then we have Glossy Box, and honestly, I was thinking whether I should put this in this okay kind of like category, but I just don't really see anything that interesting in there, to be honest, and I'm not aware of anyone who actually really liked this advent calendar. I'm assuming now that it's reduced like by half price, people are buying it, and that's okay, but like it was expensive for what it was. It was like over almost £100, which is crazy. And the content, I mean, we had like a full-size Huda Beauty palette last year in Glossy Box. That was amazing. What happened this year again? And that price. Okay, Debenhams, another example. I'm not really sure what happened there too. Bunch of minis, not even like great brands, whatever that was, I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm not able to cover every single advent calendar, so that's why I only mentioned 3 of them here. But yeah, I have to say that this category could have been and should have been so much better. Okay, so on a positive note, we're moving to a category that I find the best this year. The mid-range category, I think it was the best one. Like pretty much most advent calendars in this category were amazing. And even the bad ones were not as bad. Okay, so mid-range category between £100 and £200. My number one in this category would have to be Sephora. Sephora Advent Calendar was quite inexpensive. It was £139 and it was worth over £700. The content was amazing. The sizes were amazing. There were no minis. We had a Natasha Denona palette. We had a Sol de Janeiro with the new Beige Fleur body balm. We have a full-size neon candle, Better than Sex mascara, plenty of full sizes in general, and the price was quite affordable for what it was. I was really impressed with this calendar. Hopefully it will be just as good next year. We'll see, right? This was the first UK Sephora Advent calendar, so obviously they wanted to look good, but hopefully the next year will be just as good. Okay, the very close second place is John Lewis. It's only second because it was just more expensive with like a similar value. So the price here was £179 and the value was £744. So this is the only reason why it had to be second, but I do believe this is one of the best advent calendars this season as well. We had a Charlotte Tilbury palette, we had a MAC lipstick, we had a Sandy Riley CEO cream, Dermalogica sunscreen. Again, lots of full sizes, really great product, kind of like a very luxurious feel to it. I feel like this was a great advent calendar, and if you can get it with a nice discount, then do it, because this is a good one. On the third position, we have two advent calendars, and these advent calendars I like to describe as the greatest hits advent calendars. This is not my idea. One of you guys actually mentioned that under one of these calendars, one of the reveals, but I do really love how it actually describes this advent calendar. It's the greatest hits advent calendars because they do contain lots of brilliant kind of like powerhouse products, but not necessarily a very new exciting things, if you know what I mean. So these two advent calendars are Latest in Beauty and Elle. Both of these calendars are really good, and it's pretty much down to which product you prefer. I personally got the Latest in Beauty advent calendar. The Elle one did not really interest me that much because I pretty much own most of those products over there. The Latest in Beauty advent calendar was £199 and it was worth £813. It was reduced by £10-20, but nothing more than that. I'm hoping for Black Friday they would just do like a nice reduction. It had Bum Bum Cream inside, Murad AHA BHA cleanser, Olaplex. It also had like a full-size Shiseido cream, which was lovely. It didn't really have that much makeup. It was more skincare heavy, I would say, but I really loved the content, and it was super heavy. It had so many full sizes inside. I was really impressed. And then we have Elle advent calendar. The original price was £175. It is reduced now. It is reduced down to like, I think £100 now. It was worth £755. It also had Bum Bum Cream inside, Murad Recovery Cream, For Your Luna, also like Huda Liquid Lipstick. If you like makeup, I think maybe Elle Advent Calendar will be a bit better for you because it had like a mixture of makeup, skincare, and all sorts of things. I feel like both of these advent calendars are really good and definitely worth the money. I mean, even the full price, actually, now that the prices are reduced, it's even more worth buying them. Okay, so that leaves us with the worst advent calendars of this category. And as I mentioned before, I love this category because even the worst were not really that bad, were they? So here I like to mention two advent calendars. First of them is Fenwick. So Fenwick was priced originally at £195 and had the value of £700. And to be honest, as much as the packaging was stunning, the products were slightly different. So it was not like the usual stuff that you get in advent calendars, but the sizes not so impressive. If you have such strong competition in your kind of price range, you should be working a little bit harder. Like the sizes were not really that impressive. This advent calendar is reduced now as well. So I think for that price, it's much more worth buying it. It was not the worst, but it was not amazing as well. There's a lot of room for improvement here. The other advent calendar that I need to mention here is House of Fraser, priced at £125 originally, and it's worth over £400. It did have a Charlotte Tilbury lipstick, a small Natasha Denona palette. That sounds lovely, right? But the rest of the products was like tiny, so we had like so many minis in there, and I couldn't even find the value of £125 in full sizes. I wanted to buy it just for the sake of like showing you on this channel, but I couldn't really justify this purchase because it didn't really seem worth it to me. So yeah, I mean, it was not that bad because it did have like those two nice items or a couple of nice items inside, but at the same time it feels like definitely room for improvement here. Okay, so that leaves us with the last advent calendar category. This is the luxury one. Advent calendars priced over £200. Obviously, luxury calendars are quite lovely in general. You will get your money's worth, like no matter what. But I think they just went a little bit too high with the prices this year. I think they used inflation as an excuse. it was a little bit ridiculous sometimes. So what was my favorite advent calendar? Can you guess? It was flannels, the flannels advent calendar. That one was brilliant. So flannels was originally priced at £235 plus delivery, which is one of my pet peeves, because I mean, with luxury brands, when they're selling you something that costs you like over £200 or whatever, like £150, and then they charge you delivery on top, it feels like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right, okay? It should be free. Like, if you spend that much money, I guess you deserve a free delivery. Anyway, it was originally priced at £235 and it was worth over £800. It has been recently reduced and it was reduced by almost 50%, which was crazy. I'm not sure if it's still available because I would assume that for that price it should sell out quite quickly. But maybe it is. If it is, I will definitely recommend you to check this one out because this one was good. So what we had here was Pat McGrath Quad, an eyeshadow quad, like wow. Natasha Denona palette. We had Charlotte Tilbury and Mariota lipsticks. We had some full-size skincare products from Sarah Chapman, Medicaid, other lovely brands. This was such a great advent calendar, I feel like. If you like makeup, then you have some proper luxury makeup inside. That was such a great advent calendar to unbox. On the second position, and that one might be a little bit controversial because I know there are many people who loved it, but I also know there are many people who are super disappointed with this advent calendar, and I think I know why. So, okay, second place is Cult Beauty. Okay, I know some of you are probably like, why? I think the disappointment was mostly caused by the fact that this year's Cult Beauty was very kind of skincare, maybe hair care heavy. There was really not that much makeup inside. And as far as I remember, we did have lots of makeup products in the previous years. So obviously, if you're a makeup lover, that could be disappointing for you, but all in all, I do think like this advent calendar is definitely worth the money and it definitely should be quite high in this ranking. So Cult Beauty was priced at £235 and it was worth over £1,000, which sounds amazing. There were 38 items inside. There was Sunday Riley Vitamin C Serum, Medicaid Retinol Cream. There were no minis, like literally no minis. As for makeup, we did have Charlotte Tilbury palette, we had a Huda lipstick, Benefit mascara, so there were makeup items, but maybe not as many as some of you would expect. I still think that this is definitely one of the best advent calendars this year, especially in the luxury category. And you probably see why when I talk about the next advent calendars on this list. So I have two advent calendars in the third place, and these are Fortnum Mason and Liberty London. And I like them because they were a little bit different, but there were a couple of bats, so that's why they are not any higher. So let's talk about Fortnum Mason first. This advent calendar was priced at £245 and it was worth £844. It was pretty much skincare and kind of like wellness or self-care focused. There was no makeup. No makeup whatsoever. It was a little bit different. The products were a bit different. I really enjoyed this advent calendar. It had some Cold 51 night cream, some Espra products, some aromatherapy associates. Do you know, those brands are famous for those products that make you feel like really good, that they smell lovely, and you know, all that stuff. So that was a lovely advent calendar, very kind of like great for like pampering. But as I said, no makeup whatsoever. And that's probably something that some of you might find a little bit like less interesting. And then we have Liberty London, same price, £245. The value was over £1,000. Also skincare heavy. It did have a couple of makeup items, but still quite skincare heavy. The brands here were lovely. We had some Kate Somerville, Dr. Seba, Zellens. We had some makeup items by Uoma Beauty or Surat. So, you know, the brands were lovely. But at the same time, and I'm trying to be, as I said, as impartial as I can, if you didn't like Cult Beauty for not having that much makeup, these two advent calendars, they pretty much don't have any makeup whatsoever. I mean, Liberty London did have a couple of items, but still, this is very skincare heavy. So with that in mind, I do feel like a Cult Beauty wins with these advent calendars. The value is higher, the price is lower, and there's a little bit more makeup. Okay, so these four advent calendars are my top three in the luxe category. We're moving down to position number, 4 or 5? I have two calendars here too. And to be honest, I wasn't really sure where I should position them because they're still good. but there were more buts here. So we're going to talk about Harrods now. So this calendar was priced at £250. The value of it was over £1,100, which is quite high. But the problem I had with Harrods, or the main problem I had with Harrods, is that it was released super late. Once it was released, all the other advent calendars had been already reduced, which was weird. I mean, we waited so long, so I was really expecting something like magnificent, something amazing, mind-blowing. And we just got a good advent calendar, got luxury advent calendar, and that is slightly disappointing with that long wait. So the fact that it was released so late, the fact that it wasn't as mind-blowing as everybody expected it to be, but it also had some similar products to like other advent calendars, which, I mean, obviously if you had purchased an advent calendar before, you wouldn't be buying a Harrods now. And also there were some repeats from like last year. So I'm talking about products like Omorovita mist, you know, the Queen of Hungary mist, or Ren Glow Toner. There were a couple of products like that. All in all, I think this is a brilliant advent calendar. If you haven't purchased your advent calendar yet, and if Harrods is discounted, and it probably will have to be, then this is definitely a good one. It is skincare focused. There is a Charlotte Tilbury lipstick and I think maybe a couple more like makeup items, but it's mostly skincare heavy. It has some lovely skincare products inside, like Dr. Dennis Gross Vitamin C Serum, BioEffect EGF Serum, or Murad Night Cream. But all in all, I do feel like they could have done better. They definitely could have done better. So I can't really put it any higher than this. I feel like this is a good advent calendar. It's definitely good, but it doesn't really deserve to be any higher than here. I will probably position Minted very close to Harrods. I'm not sure which one should be higher or lower. Minted is a 12-day skincare advent calendar. It is priced at £250, and the value of this advent calendar is £800. So the price is quite steep for a 12-day advent calendar. That's why it can't get any higher than this, but all the products inside are full sizes. It is skincare. There's a little bit of hair care from what I remember, but yeah, this advent calendar definitely looks really good. If you like the products inside and they're all full sizes, then this is a great advent calendar, especially if they decide to reduce their price around Black Friday. So these are 5 very good advent calendars in luxe category. There is one more I need to mention, and this one I would describe as good, and then we're going to move on to the worst in this category. Now we're down to this advent calendar that I still think it's a good one, but maybe it didn't necessarily have to be in this luxury category, and I mean Space NK here. So this one was priced at £215 and it was worth over £770. Do you know what? If this calendar was like £20 cheaper, or like, I don't know, it could even cost like £199, that would still be like a really good advent calendar. And don't get me wrong, this is definitely a good advent calendar. You will get your money's worth for sure, but I believe that they could have done this for a cheaper price, you know? And in this mid-range category, this advent calendar will be one of the best. In the luxury category, it's just good in my opinion. So we did have some classic products like Paula's Choice BHL Exfoliator. We had some Olaplex, some Fresh Soy Cleanser, Bum Bum Cream, you know, the classics. We did have a couple of interesting products. It was a bit skincare heavy, I would say, but that's what we usually expect from a Space NK. Space NK does not really excel at like makeup heavy advent calendar, so I don't think that actually disappointed anyone. But as I said, for what it was, I would love to see this advent calendar in this mid-range price kind of bracket. Okay, so we're leaving the good calendar zone and we have to talk about the worst in this category. And okay, still, these are luxury advent calendars, and these 3 advent calendars I'm going to talk about now, I did like them. But as I said, I'm trying to be as impartial as I can. I did buy, I don't know how many advent calendars, and these 3, they were a little bit different, so that's why I liked them. But if you're only getting one advent calendar, you want this to be like perfect, not just okay, right? So that's why these advent calendars ended up being in the worst. So the first advent calendar I need to mention is Harvey Nichols. And as much as I really like that, I kind of feel like I need to say that, because if you watch my videos, if you watch my unboxing, you'll see that I actually really liked it. The thing with Harvey Nichols is, I mean, let's talk about the price and the value first. It was priced at £250, so one of the priciest advent calendars, but the value was £1,200. So I think the value was the highest of all advent calendars this year. So what is the problem with Harvey Nichols? I mean, it was lovely, it had a nice selection of luxury products, but it did have 6 fragrances inside, which I feel like, I mean, I love fragrances, cool, but I think most of you, when you're buying like a beauty advent calendar, you will want something that contains mostly beauty, and 1 or 2 fragrances, that's fine. 6 fragrances, that sounds a little bit much. Do you know that people who just can't use fragrances, or maybe just don't like experimenting with like new scents? And here we have like 6 fragrances, but that's not all. Harvey Nichols also offered us some vouchers, and these vouchers, obviously they were counted into the value, the crazy value that we've got. These vouchers were for like treatments that you can have in Harvey Nichols by different brands. They did sound lovely, but they only make sense if you live not far from Harvey Nichols, or maybe if you don't mind driving, I don't know, 2 hours to have your treatment done in Harvey Nichols. I feel like these vouchers and these fragrances made this advent calendar exclusive to the extreme. Like, you really have to be a certain person to enjoy this advent calendar. And that's not even about like whether you can afford it or not. It's just more like you have to be able to get those treatments to get your money's worth of this advent calendar, and you have to like your fragrances. So I feel like because of that, this advent calendar was not the best of the beauty advent calendars, and I think because of that, it does deserve to be named one of the worst in this category. But with that being said, I'm going to mention that again. I love my fragrances and I really like this advent calendar. I think it's worth actually mentioning that there were some really interesting products inside, including a full-size Revitalash eyelash conditioner, which I've never actually seen that in an advent calendar, so that was actually really cool. Okay, very similar situation, Selfridges. That was cheaper. It was £210, worth £800, 5 fragrances inside. Again, similar situation. I'm not really going to repeat myself. A concierge voucher. That's something that appears in Selfridges advent calendar like every single year, and I don't know if anyone actually uses this. Again, you have to be not far from Selfridges, and as much as like Harvey Nichols had like nice treatments from like different brands, the concierge voucher, like nobody really knows what that is and how you can actually spend this. So, but again, I did like this advent calendar, mostly probably because I do like fragrances, but it also had Pat McGrath blush in it, Charlotte Tilbury palette, MAC lipstick. The skincare was okay. The makeup part was better than skincare, I would say. Skincare was just okay. Nothing really that just blew my mind. And the last of the worst advent calendars of the luxury bracket, and do bear in mind that the order here is not really that important. I'm not really sure which of these advent calendars is the worst or the least bad. I don't know. They all have some sort of like room for improvement, and they all have some flaws that made them, you know, the worst ones in this category. So the last one is Net-a-Porter. This is the most expensive advent calendar on the market, the most expensive multi-branded advent calendar on the market. This one costs £260, and it has the value of over £1,000. Yeah. Tweezers Gua Sha Eyelash Curler. Do I need to say more? Like, why do we even have these products in a luxury advent calendar, in the most expensive advent calendar on the market? On the other hand, we did have some really interesting items, and like very luxurious ones in this advent calendar. Like, for example, a full-size Balmain hair fragrance. That is super expensive, like by itself. I didn't know, but it is expensive. I like the fact that it was a little bit different compared to the other luxury advent calendars. Skincare heavy again. A little bit of makeup. I did like it. I did like it more than I expected. But still, tweezers, Gua Sha, eyelash curler. That's all I'm going to say. Okay guys, so this is everything in this video. These are all the advent calendars that I find to be the best and the worst in each of those 3 categories. What do you guys think? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, even if you completely disagree with me, because that is very possible. As much as I was trying to be impartial in this video, and as much as I try to take into consideration what you guys said in your comments, in the end this is filtered through my own opinion, so your perception might be completely different. I would still love to know your thoughts about it. Thank you very much for watching. For more beauty related content, check those videos here. I'm going to see you very soon. Take care. Bye.